How do everyone? I hope you're all well. So this video is going to be about my list that I said I'd do. I'm not going to call it a bucket list. It's just roughly a list of 20 things. You know, I want to do a bit of living. I've spent a good few years feeling sorry for myself, drowning it down a bottle. You know, a year or so ago, I wouldn't have said I'm going to make 50. I've got about 40 years left in me before I'm 80. So I want to start living, obviously. So if you just want to follow my journey about the recovery, you're more than welcome not to watch this, obviously. But, and any other videos I do, I'll put it in the title when it's just about the recovery side. But I did say I'm going to do a list. It's for myself, my own benefits. Some are involving me, my family, yourselves for content. But I put together a list because if I'm going to keep putting stuff on here, like I said, got to make it a bit interesting as well. But, sorry. I do just want to make clear that, you know, all my videos, all the journey, the most important thing is about spreading the message, the awareness of alcohol, the dangers of alcohol, drugs, addiction overall, mental health, you know, get an hashtag going, lifestyle choices, that kind of thing. Spread the good word. That's my idea moving forward with the channel. Like I said, I wanted to do more for the channel. So to keep the channel going, I need to add things to it. So I have 4 of a list. Discussed a few with the missus, come up with a few on my own. Can you tell me what you like, what you think in the comment section, and why not do this, why not do that? So I thought to discuss this with you guys. Beautiful. I love it up here. So are you ready? Tell me if you think any are stupid. Some, by the way, might mean nothing to you. I do that every day, or well, why would you want to do that? But I try to put meaning to these. Yeah, if you get me. So, starting off is wild camping. I've already mentioned that on this channel. I like to do that. The second, I won't keep saying the first, second. I'll just give the list. I want to try jelly deals. I guess if you're from down south, you'd be saying like, well, what about it? But I think that'll be funny, me. For some funny reactions on YouTube. I like to learn a language. I like to learn a new instrument. I'm thinking maybe like the piano or something, because I like to try a new sport. Now, the only sport I do is fishing. Some of you might say that's not a sport, but that's all I do at the minute. So I'm thinking maybe like I'd like to have a go at abseiling, something like that. I like to write a book. I like writing, you see. I'm crap speaking. I'm not the best at my handwriting skills, but I enjoy writing, and I kind of know how to write books. I have kind of been working on one. Not one of these self books, just fictional, made up, bizarre. You know, when you've been to dark places in your head, you can make good horror thriller kind of vibes. I don't know yet, but I am working on that, believe it or not, already. Now, become a chef, Michelin star. Now, I don't mean as a job. I mean, I'll do a recipe on my YouTube channel that's Michelin star level. If you've been watching this channel from very early, you know I do cooking on it, or I did cooking on it. So when all my kitchen's finished in the house, cook a Michelin star meal and share it with you guys. Bit of good content, and I like to cook anyway. Now I've written more personal and spiritual for this next bit. The others were skills and hobbies. So, volunteer for the cause. Now, I do volunteering for Achieve. I can't do as much at the minute until I get structure in my job. But if they have weekend events, I'm more than willing to go along and do my bit within that volunteering role in the drugs and alcohol. So I kind of do that already, just not enough at the minute until I get structure with my job, as you guys know. Just started work for people who don't know. So, meditation and practice. I had a go at Buddha once where you put the ding and things like that, you know. But regardless of all the cliches, just to give myself space, you give yourself time to think, you can be more productive and things like that. Facts. That's facts. Spend more time with nature. But with this, it's like, I do enjoy the outdoors anyway. I don't mean start hugging trees, but there is a thing called, is it grounding or earthing? It's along them lines. Now, not to start rambling, but on a scientific level, we are electrons and we're like energy anyway, aren't we? And there's some truth to earthing. That's the word, sorry. It's called earthing. Is you get your shoes and socks off, separate the rubber between yourself and the ground, and it's meant to be really good for you. And I kind of believe that if you look into it a bit deeper. Like I say, not on a tree hugging, I'm out of this world experience. I don't mean any of that. I just think meditation, in touch with nature, can't be a bad thing. Or more of it. This might mean nothing to some of you, is travel solo. When did you last travel solo? Let us know. Like, as in, just got on a train, randomly gone somewhere, a train, a plane, and randomly gone somewhere on your own for no reason. You know, it helps with anxiety, it can help with all that. So I'm up for that. I like to go to a cultural event. Don't know what yet. There's plenty of cultures to choose from. So that's another thing I want to do. And learn a new culture. Now, once again, if you watch my channel for some time, I love Asian cooking. Mainly Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese. So perhaps learning a culture and going to a cultural event could be like going Vietnam and seeing how it is there. Like, seriously, that's where I'd like to take the channel. And I love all that. I love all about their culture. Like, a fun fact, that's where ice cream was invented, if you like, was China. I love the idea of all the provinces. You know, even their cooks, the head cook in the schools, they're classed and regarded as a high-paid teacher. You know, for health benefits, all the meals. It's educated to the children how to eat correctly. I love all their culture over there. I think it's fascinating. So that's the kind of road. And perhaps a new language could be like Mandarin. Mandarin is the main used over there, isn't it? Something like that. And then we just go crazy on these last few ones. Is one of them's ride a horse. Never rode a horse. Rode a donkey. As a kid, obviously, on the beach. I've even been on an elephant. But I've never rode a horse in my life. So I fancy that. I fancy going to, if you're not from over here, there's a place called Zip World or Zipland, and it's all zip lines, going over the edge of cliffs and all that. So I fancy doing that. My daughter fancies doing that with us. So I'm going to do that. Explore a cave. Now, I could do that as like dingy cave somewhere, but I know down south there's a place called, don't laugh, Wookey Hole and Cheddar Gorge. So I could go down there as a family day, and there's a cave down there. I've been many years ago, but not with my kids. There's a cave down there that you can have a tour around, make a video about it. Yeah, just something like that. My next one's stay in a cabin. And I don't mean one of these with a jacuzzi or something. I mean like in Scotland where you've got to do a bit of hiking, or the Lake District. And it's an overnight cabin. Something like that. Make a video out of that. I don't know, I was running out of ideas for now. Is try a new hair colour. I can do it for the fun day, or World Cup day. I don't need to just be walking around with mad hair, and I don't be one, you know what I mean? Don't want to be looking like a madman. So that's my list so far. Tell me what you think in the comments. You know, like I said, you don't have to follow this side, but I'm enjoying where this channel's going. If it can always help spread the message and awareness of mental health and addiction, of any, by the way, not just drugs and alcohol, just addiction can control your life and destroy you. So that's how I'm thinking of moving forward with the channel and see where it goes. I'm not saying I'm going to be the next KSI. I'm not saying I'm going to be the next big money maker on YouTube. But see where it goes. You can come along for the journey if you like. If you don't like that, you don't have to watch, you know. But I thought I'd share this. Leave a comment, let me tell us what you think. But you know, life's for living, innit? And how many of us just get set in our ways, whether you're in work, whether it's worst case scenario with addiction, we get set in our ways and we don't do anything. And before we know it, we're going to be old and, I can't say grey, I'm going grey here already. We're going to be old anyway, you know, just, wow, what did I do with my life? I recently watched something and it was put forward that, like, when you get old and you're asked, what did you do with your life? It's a deep question, so at least I can add 20 things to that, can't I? But I'm going to leave it there for now. Take care, everyone. I hope you think this is an interesting idea. See where it can take us all in spreading the word. And hopefully have some giggles along the way with content and whatnot. So take care. I'm sorry about the noise up here today, even though it's the middle of nowhere. It's a busy tourist place when the sun comes out. So I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye for now.